and put him all over my house. I done had him in. So I'm about to put him in the show with us.
You having fun with it? Hey, that'd be sweet.
I miss him so much.
Yeah, man, that show will take you on a whirlwind. That's for sure.
All right. Episode 77.
All over my house. I done had him in. So
episode 77. I think this is the first episode of the year, right?
Oh, Happy New Year.
Yes, it is.
New Year. Oh, we're gonna have one more guest. They'll be on. They'll be here in with us. So let's start. Blair, I don't know if you've seen the show yet, but we be here in first. So you're the guest. What you got to drink, man?
You know what? I made a vow to do better this year, so I'm going with straight up H2O.
Wow.
Hey man, I gotta be clean this year, man.
Sorry. Blair is on the. I gotta make sure my healthcare plan rolled over.
Hey, just in case they see this.
In case, I understand, man. I got Black is Beautiful. This is Imperial Stout, 10% alcohol.
I've been wanting to try that.
Say, did we try that before, or did we talk about it?
Talked about it because they brewed it, in honor of like all the riots and everything. George Floyd, that was all going down.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be. My mom actually brought this over, so I'm interested in seeing what's.
I don't know if it's any good, but I like the message, right? So
absolutely. What do you got? What you got, Grandpa?
I got some Imperium lager beer. Let's see here. I was trying to find out what the alcoholic contents was, but I couldn't find my magnifying glass.
That's different. I mean, it's not malt liquor like it's been for the past few weeks. So I mean, we're changing. We're moving on.
Is it a twist though?
I might could have told you the alcoholic contents, but I got the top off. It wasn't the scoop top, so I got me a what's called this time. I got a can opener.
Okay.
All I gotta do is just flip the top.
I shared the video to my Facebook, y'all. If y'all want to share it to y'all's too.
Okay.
I don't even know what we drinking.
I'm sure it was a Bourbon County.
No, it's not.
Nah. Chris ran out and got something. She had it getting cold in the freezer.
Okay.
Clincher, double IPA. I like double IPAs. 8.7% alcohol.
Okay.
That's in an acceptable alcohol range.
You know, you can still get work done today.
Yeah, man, the work day's over. What are you talking about?
I have an interview in a couple hours, so that's gonna be fun.
For another position.
Huh?
For someone to work for you or another position?
No, somebody asked me to be on this show.
Wait a minute.
Well, it's not this show. They don't have any beer, and they are not this handsome either.
Number one, you have a contract.
Who said, wait a minute?
We got right out you, Crystal, her time between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. on Wednesday.
Oh, I purposely didn't schedule it till later on because of this. I was like, I'm not free until I'm giving us a couple hours. Yeah, this is
that looks good.
Okay.
Smells good too.
Yes, it does. This is a good sign here.
All right, give us that pre-rate. I'm gonna rate mine.
What'd you say, Pops?
I was saying the beer he drinking now, he got some syrup. He didn't been having no syrup, has he?
Who, Poop?
Y'all been drinking. You like garbage?
You just gonna be disrespectful, Pops.
Oh man.
He just
that like some real beer there. You know, see that?
Oh, hey, Christina.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Christina.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry for being late.
That's all right.
Is that incense or weed in the
I was
back?
gonna say it's a little hazy.
Mind your business. Like, oh, let me change the camera angle. You see that?
No, it's still blazing.
So that's just barbecue. That's she at the grill. That's
Incense.
She clearing the spirits out of her house.
I am. It's incense, y'all. I promise. I wasn't blazing. I promise.
Look, it's legal. It's legal.
It ain't legal in Mexico yet. It ain't legal in
Mexico?
Yet. Yeah, I'm in Playa del Carmen.
Oh.
Who's that? Okay, so we're international now. We ain't never
Okay,
had.
so I'm an hour from Tulum. Everybody know Tulum now. I'm an hour from Tulum and an hour from Cancun. I'm right in the middle.
Okay,
Nice.
Same street.
we just beered in. What drink you got?
Well, how's the
I
weather?
got my beer, this cerveza. You know, we in Mexico. Indio. I don't know what this is, y'all. We about to see. Elaborate. Y'all know some Spanish? I don't speak no Spanish.
What drink?
I've had the
Elaborate.
beer.
Hey, we about to see. I'm like, I'll let you know after. I don't know.
All right. Let me see. What, Grandpa? Did you rate your beer yet?
Yeah.
What
My
was it?
Imperium. Oh, I haven't rated it though.
Yeah, what was it?
Oh man, this is pretty good. This Imperium. I just got to find out whether it's made in the United States or not, because it tastes like it might be made somewhere else. It's good. I'm giving us. You know, I'm tough.
All right.
Yeah.
And he sat back across his leg. He was so proud about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a humor Blair. What's your rating of that water you drinking, bro?
You know what? This water is very good. It's cold enough. It's very cold. You know, purified, the finest purified of Meyer water. not no suds. You know.
Tap, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Give it a 5. Dang. You harder than Pops.
Yeah.
Christina, since you just walked in from Mexico, what's your rating of that?
Nah.
That's our first nah.
Nah. I'm gonna try again. Nah.
Wow.
Okay. What about you, Auntie and Uncle?
Are we doing so off smell? I think it's probably gonna be like a 6.5 ish.
Yeah, I was thinking 6.5.
So let me see.
Hey. You really went back.
I give it 6.75, 7. This is solid. This is wait a minute, it's juicy.
Yeah, I'll
Wait
give it a 7.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was out of 5. Let me give my water a 10.
It's solid 7.
Yeah, I'm
This
at
is
7.
juicy. It's not
That's
bitter,
good.
but you can taste the hops. I'm here for it. I like it.
Give this a say, sir.
It beats that water there drinking.
Hey,
This is something that
when you order this for me, do you order me some water?
I know you like it.
I love it.
I'm drinking. Hey,
so Grandpa, you
get good stuff.
Hey, all that matters is if you like it, man. If you like it, it's the good stuff.
Yeah, it's all right.
Grandpa, you probably won't like this. This is like chocolatey, a little
Bless
bit
you.
of it's got a little bit of coffee bitterness to it. It's like if you had like a not frappuccino, but it's like if you had coffee, put cream in it, and then you put some alcohol in it. That's just what this is.
Okay, there ain't no beer in it.
That
Yeah.
sounds good to me.
Why don't I do that? That sounds
I
good.
drink it.
It's
That
called
sounds
Black
Starbucks.
Tea, Christina.
Oh, I love it.
That
I
sounds
love it.
good.
Love it.
You know, I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely take that.
Now that we beered in, let's get into the topic. You know, we got a special guest, Blair, and Christina, all the way international right now. So I'll introduce
Where's
you
she
guys.
at, Cuba?
Now,
I live in
Oh,
Mexico.
so whenever Cuba comes on, someone says Cuba, you
Hey.
You gotta take a drink. Cuba's the drinking word.
Oh, hold on. I got you.
Oh,
Salud.
But you know, let's do some introductions. So Christina, are you on vacation right now? What's going on? I saw you.
no. I live here. I did come in October on vacation. I just needed to get a little. I needed to get away a little bit, and you know I can work from anywhere. So I came and I was like, okay, I'm not leaving. I went on vacation and I didn't leave. So now this is my apartment. I live here. It's so interesting because there's so many Black folks down here in Playa. We have a huge community here.
What's the cost of living?
It is so below normal. So I live in a luxury 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's $1,200 USD. You can get an apartment in a middle class neighborhood for $500 USD a month. It's like you can get luxury and it's going to be cheaper than America, But like your normal day to day, if you wanted to like just live regularly, oh my gosh, $1,000 a month. That's food, rent, eating, drinking, like it's really, really affordable. But when you start going to places like Tulum, where everybody comes to go, then it gets more expensive. But here, yeah, it makes sense why I didn't leave. Because I'm like, I don't, living in America, I gotta hustle. Here, I'm like, take a week off, take 2 weeks off. I'm okay.
Oh wow. Okay, that's interesting. So like
That
I
sounds great.
because I saw you on your Facebook feed talking about like you're going through like a lot of, like a journey or something, like a spiritual journey. I was like, man, I got to know about that because I'm all about it. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back to you in a second, Blair. We got to go over these movie rankings, man. Like, what is going on, dude? Like, I don't know. So you weren't here, Christina, but Blair has his own. What's it called? Give us a background, man.
So I have my own movie review company, essentially, Blair's Movie Reel, and it's REAL. So of course a play on words, but basically I take to Facebook, and I'm expanding pretty soon, so YouTube coming soon. But I take movies that everybody loves, some love them, some don't, and I give them my rating on them from 1 to 5. Sean and some other people have been on my head about some of the ratings that have come about, but I feel like that's the joy in it. I've always been like, I can't learn from you if I always agree with you, So that's where the joy comes from, just saying what I feel and seeing what people agree with or disagree with, man.
No, that's great.
What's your favorite movie you done rated so far?
Oh man, favorite movie. I could definitely go by genres, but if I'm going by my rating system from this so just a backstory, I do what's called 52 weeks, 52 movies. So basically it's just watching a movie a week for the whole year. And a movie that I really had fun with, honestly, it was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, the reason why I liked it so much, obviously, is because of the superhero aspect. I mean, we all know Wonder Woman, and we've seen every era has seen a version of Wonder Woman. But what they captured in this one, to me, especially with the pacing, man, that I really had fun with that movie. So that would probably be on one of my tops.
Dad, what's your favorite movie? Yeah, you. What's your favorite movie?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't watched no movie in so long.
I know a movie Grandpa likes, Gladiator. What'd you rate Gladiator?
Man.
You know what? Gladiator, I wouldn't, I mean, if we're talking about it right now, that's definitely a 5. Gladiator took me on some.
Be on the good foot now.
Yeah. Gladiator, that was something, man. And I'll always love those type of movies. Like when 300 dropped, I was all in.
So, okay, that's always the question. Can I ask a question, nephew?
Yeah.
And this is to everybody.
Now she might, when she says nephew, she may be referring to every male younger than her.
That's true. Because nephew, Blair, you nephew now too.
All right, I'd take that.
So this is for everybody. If you gotta go into battle, you taking Maximus, Leonidas, or William Wallace? Go.
Oh.
Right.
Maximus and Leonidas both died at the end.
William Wallace did too.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if I'm going for like, if all we got is hands, then I gotta go with Leonidas because them boys held off a lot of people for a long time.
You know what? I
gotta go with, I gotta overthrow a government. I gotta go with my boy Maximus, man.
So you act like William Wallace just not even in the conversation.
William Wallace had guns. I'm talking about like if I had to fight with sticks.
What you mean William Wallace had guns?
Had no guns.
We're talking Braveheart, baby.
Oh, I'm thinking about my mans who freed who started that Negro town back, that white man. I'm thinking about the wrong brother. I'm sorry. I'm definitely not messing with William Wallace then. I did not mess with Braveheart. I just, something about getting castrated just set wrong with me.
What?
Something about it. I'm not. I'd rather get killed with all my stuff intact than get castrated.
He didn't get castrated.
Yes, he did. In the back.
You got the wrong movie.
You got the wrong movie, baby. He got decapitated.
No, in the real story about him, he got castrated.
We talking about the movie.
I'm just saying, I know the historical context of it.
Oh. So, Pops, have you seen the movie Braveheart?
Yeah, but I was going to say I didn't see the castration part.
Thank you, Pops.
Why does happen to know the history of it? I'm just saying. But that's it for me. You know what? Now y'all threw me off, Christina. So now that we got everybody introduced, I got to know, man. So now that you're down there, because I didn't know that you moved down there. Like, how different is it? Because I know like South America, people talk about like it being like when we talk about like blackness in America and people go to Mexico, they think, oh, these are brown people like us. But from what I understand, that's not true at all.
It's not the same, but it's more. It forces you to be more authentic, if that makes any sense. Because no, they're not like other Black people, but because I am in a community of Black people, I still get that sister brother thing going. But Mexicans, no, we ain't all the same. Like we ain't, but it's very, very similar to being in America. Here where I'm at in Playa del Carmen, I say this is like South Texas. Like this is South Texas. Like it's really, really, really similar. But they not like us. No. It's different. It's different, but you can identify the culture, how they see each other as brother and sister. That is the same. That part of it, that kind of community that they build amongst each other is the same. But it's not like us, if that makes any sense. Same, but different.
Okay. Do you how is it though? Do you feel like you have more mobility down there?
Yes, I feel like because I am not in that kind of, I'm not in existing within racism, if that makes any sense. It's a different kind. It's a different kind. So like the shit that I deal with in America, I don't necessarily deal with that here because them seeing me, they know I'm a foreigner. They assume that I'm rich. They assume that I have means. So the assumption is totally different here than it is in America, where it's like, oh, you got to tell me what you do. You Black, you don't have nothing. Like the assumption is totally flipped here, if that makes any sense.
That's very interesting.
That's like traveling in Africa. They assume you got money because first of all, how the hell would you be here? Like you clearly got something. You ain't
why the hell you coming?
You just came for 2 weeks to hang out? Like oh, okay.
You came here.
You came. Oh, okay. All right. Exactly. What you need? You need something?
No, that's how I feel about when people come to Detroit to vacation. I'm like, you came here.
Yeah, like why did you?
What about the senior population there?
I'm sorry?
The senior population.
Oh, it is a lot of retirees out here. A lot of people come out here, retire, use their money because, so where they go though, so Jalisco. So I'm in Playa del Carmen. This is a more younger expat population, but the senior population in Jalisco, which is the western part of Mexico, they have a huge community there. A lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians, in the state of Jalisco. I'm trying to think of the city, but I know the state that they go to is Jalisco.
That's definitely.
What is the temperature just about now where you're at?
85 degrees, sunny.
That's what I can.
I'm right off the Caribbean Sea. So the Caribbean tropical, this is where I'm at. But Mexico has so many different, like north, of course, it's colder. The western part is colder as well, but that's where the seniors go. The western part. But
hey, come on with that colder. We in Chicago and Detroit. That Texas cold. That Texas cold ain't cold now.
That's true, but I guess not.
Say when I'm living in 85 every day, if I go into 75, I'm like, what's going on?
Cold.
It's cold.
So I say colder. I'm talking about high 60s, low 70s, which
Oh
is
my goodness.
but like that is colder.
Talking about like you gotta stop putting shorts on and wear pants or something.
Yeah. I
When it gets to
have my
68 we
toes
have like
out. I gotta put on some.
Do you feel pretty safe there?
Oh my gosh, it's so safe. I feel safe. It's so funny because I'm from Detroit though, so that's the thing.
That's mad down. I want to leave Detroit.
But when people be like, "You feel safe? It's not safe." I'm like, "Yo, we live in Detroit. Like we're from Detroit. let's take a second here. Like, what is safety? Like,
The only reason why Detroit lost is murder capital of the world is because we killed everybody. It's only the
Wow.
You won.
Yeah. So
Detroit won and shit.
It's
Wow.
the same thing anywhere you go. I'm a world traveler. It's the same thing. You know when you ain't got no business being somewhere.
Yeah.
When you know when you ain't got no business being out at a certain time in certain places, in certain neighborhoods. And I just apply that same good common sense everywhere I go. But I live in a better part of town and all that other stuff. So it's really safe here. It really is.
It's like I only took my travel 9 with me. Like I left the other guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a travel gun, a little one. My little
Yeah.
You ain't gotta take the big one.
A rabid dog might run up on you or something. You know?
Before I transition back to asking Blair some stuff, are you doing readings right now, Christina? What is all this stuff that's going on?
Yes. That is how I survive. I do tarot readings. I teach meditation. I teach visualization. All of that, all the hoodoo, all the spooky stuff. My mama, my whole family, like, ugh.
You got
all of them good Christians but me. Everybody a good Christian woman but me.
So you have to,
Pops leaned in on that. He was
Right.
like metaphysics.
to come back.
Metaphysics. Hold on.
You're gonna have to explain us a few of them things, but I gotta get back to Blair real quick. Blair, man. So
I know she's familiar.
Hold on. Go ahead, Dad.
I know she's familiar with Dr. Jules Pookum.
No.
Are you?
Oh.
Oh.
Grandpa said Dr. Jules spook him.
Pookum.
Spook 'em.
She's from Detroit. She's a doctor.
Definitely.
She's a medical doctor, and she was from Detroit. Her name is Pookum. Pookum. You ever?
No. I'm gonna
P-O-O-K-R-U-M.
write this down. See this? Hold on, I gotta go get a pen.
I dropped it in the comments.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, with Dr. Jules? Well, I mean, she has this program balance. I can't even think anymore. You balance your right and left hemisphere, you know.
Grandpa said it's about balance, and I forgot how to
You
balance.
balance and you sync them, you know, instead of being a division between the two, it's all one.
A balance in both.
Yeah.
That's so the left and the right. Not to go too left field, but the left being a representation of the feminine energy and the right being the masculine, and how balancing both of those within yourself.
Yeah.
That's when you come into the metaphysics and the spooky, but yeah. That's it.
I dig it. I dig it. Let me. Cause I want to dig into that, but let me get back to so Blair, man. So you say it's the company, so you're trying to make some scratch off this. So what's your plan? What's the business plan for this? If you could talk about it.
Oh yeah, man. I pretty much was going into 2021 swinging. You know, YouTube is coming. That's what I've been working on coming into the new year and everything, because it really did start honestly on a whim. You know, like I was talking to one of my frat brothers and he told me, yeah, I do this 52 weeks, 52 movies thing. And I said, okay, what do you do after that? Like what? He's like, I just watch them and people ask my opinion. So I said, okay, I want to try it. And it was, when he told me about it, it was near the end of the year. So I did it for a full year. Like I think that was 2018, 2019. And coming into 2020, or actually halfway through 2019, I started giving my thoughts on the movies because people would keep asking. Then I started doing ratings, and now it's turned into a whole brand. it honestly, yeah, it just dropped in my lap, and just seeing the response from it, you know, like I'm not an Ebert and Roper, but I'm a common guy watching movies, and people like they gravitate towards that. So It's just a blessing, man. And I just kept applying pressure, and now we're here.
That's what people want. They want somebody that they can relate to, somebody who talks like them, somebody who's not trying to talk over their head, trying to show their expertise. You just being real. Like, look, if you going to look for this, you're not going to be happy. If you're looking for this, then you're going to like it. You know, what was cool was this. You know, you want to hear that instead of the cinematic, dramatic, blah, blah. I'm like, yada, yada. Tell me if I'm going to feel like my money is worth it or not. That's what I want to hear. You know, so that's dope.
Yeah, especially typing out the reviews, because I've noticed like now I have to be a little more concise. I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but still say, okay, this is what you should watch. Now, if it's an old movie, like let's say Home Alone, I did Home Alone. Of course, a lot of people have seen it, so I can be a little more candid. But if we're talking about a Wonder Woman or anything that just came out in theaters, I'm like, all right, I want to tell you why you should watch it, but I don't want to be that spoiler guy. You know, I want to give you time. So,
have you watched Imitation of Life?
Oh, Jesus.
I have not.
Do you do kid movies?
Do I do what?
Kid movies.
Oh man, I'm a Disney head, you know.
Okay, because I'm into like kid movies. I don't know.
Me too. Like I love Disney and all types.
Pixar is the one.
Give her your rating of Soul, brother.
So I gave Soul, what was it? I think I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. I won't argue that.
Yeah, I gave Soul a 4 out of 5, and I think
it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And the thing was, so my father was a barber, you know, so a lot of the culture and everything I was able to relate to, you know. I was like, man, this is exactly how my experience was when I went to the shop, especially being his son. So, but the movie itself, the only thing that I didn't like was I think it was how the public interpreted it. And I say that because we have to remember this is a Pixar movie, you know, Disney Pixar movie. And of course, if we look at any movies that come from this, we can look at, especially with Black representation. I mean, if you go to Princess and the Frog and even Lion King, you know, we can look at different aspects of those and say, this is how Black people are portrayed. But I think another form, like with Soul, like we become something else other than you know, just our Black selves. And I think also what irritated me was the think pieces that were coming out about it. You know, I've seen so many things about, you know, what he went through and how it's supposed to be this inspirational story about how you find your purpose and this. And I'm not saying that's not there. What I'm saying is this is a children's film. Like, of course you can develop a think piece from it, but I think a lot of people went in thinking they were going to get this really deep movie, and that kind of took away from the cartoon aspect of it. And when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for it and I can kind of see it, but this is still a fun movie. But and of course, when you put something in as serious as death, you know, of course there are going to be think pieces about that and stuff, but that's kind of what turned me away from it. It was that, and the fact that it was good, but it's not one that I'm going to put top 10. You know what I mean? Like,
I see what.
So this is the thing, though. Disney has no problem with killing folks. Disney is going to approach death with the babies. Baby's gonna learn early. People die, animals die, things happen. And you know, but Disney, I will say this, Disney does a great job of making it entertaining for the children as far as aesthetically pleasing and engaging, but still throwing enough for the adults to stay engaged and want to watch it with the kids. You know, we watched it, our kids didn't even watch it with us. You know, Disney will make movies that adults will watch by themselves. But it's like the first thing I said when it came on, I started laughing. I was like, damn, Disney always killing people. Like, I feel like every Disney movie kills somebody. Disney just like killing people. Think about it.
Realist.
For real, they are realists. Every movie that you could think of, somebody has died, whether it's a parent, the person, it's always death in the damn Disney movie.
I think to Blair's point of why he didn't like it so much for like all the people glomming onto it.
Oh, I know.
Is I mean, it's. Are we talking to us? Or you talking to somebody off camera?
I think Alice in there.
Oh, it's it's had to make sure. You never know, but it's a common thing that you see where black cinema is involved. So even though black people aren't the predominant creators of this particular movie, black images were used on it. But people got up in arms like, well, why didn't we do this? Why didn't they do that? Like black people had the major control of the whole film. So like, hey,
Hey.
so like that's the thing where it's like it's always one of these two things always happens in films with black people in it. Or at least a lot of black people in it. If it's made by black people, it's this isn't good enough. Like, why didn't they do more? Why didn't they have more money? Like, black people got a lot of money to begin with in America. Right. And if it's not made by black people, but it has black people in it, it's they could have did a better. Like, why wasn't the black person more of a blah blah blah? It's never from the context. Like people never take the context of how it was made into account of the actual film when they watch it. They just watch it and think this person looks like me. Why aren't these things, in the background also happening involved? And they put so much on it that they don't put in other things. And it's sad. I understand, but I can see, but it's interesting that now that I know more about how you rate movies, about in the sense that you take in not just how the movie was to you, but the backlash and the ripple effects of how the movie is seen in society. That's interesting.
Yep. Yeah, because and that goes into the ratings as well. Like, because when you think about how big of a splash Soul had versus like Princess and the Frog, if you remember that, I don't remember any type of advertisement for that until years later after it came out, And I think especially with the pandemic, with Soul coming out now, it's like it's such a spotlight on it, and it had to deliver. And I try to be a little bit more fair, to movies that have that huge spotlight on them. I try to still look at them as just movies, like if they were just coming out regular, because a lot of movies have gotten pushed back and everything. So now it's like Soul, Wonder Woman for the last quarter of 2020. That's pretty much what we were looking at. And I try to do it a little bit more fair. But sometimes it's like, man, these movies, they get held to this standard, and it's like, man, I hope they deliver, because if not, especially when we're sitting here waiting for a movie to drop in our living rooms, it's not going to be received well, and it's going to be unfairly criticized. So I at least try to make it fair in that sense.
Okay, now I want to tie both my guest stuff together, because see, what I like to do is I like to bring people on the show, and I like to have some type of, we obviously we don't name the episodes anything that relates to anything that we're talking about, but it's just some type of thing. And based on what Blair's talking about, and expectations of how we look at films and cinema, especially as a new business owner, and especially as Christina has she did a lot of people talked about doing. She's like, you know what? I'm having a good time outside of America. I'm just not gonna come back. And she's making money off her practice of. Now, mind you, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna continue with what I said about Christina. She said she was not a good Christian. Not that even matters, because it's not like Christianity didn't start in Africa anyway. But she's looking at a whole belief system that I'm actually going to in a second. There's also was. I'm not sure 100% if it was created, but it was controlled by black people, and she's going with it. And she's making money off of it, and that's a blessing to be able to be like, hey, I'm a pivot. America's doing this. I'm going here. I'm doing this now. And you both, to a certain extent, have done that, And I just, go into that a little bit, Christina. Can you actually explain to us what like the spiritual aspect and all that you were talking about a second ago?
Yes. So with what I do, a lot of what I do, my work is intended for women, period, or feminine energy, because I have gay male clients as well. So my work is for them. So it's more of a seeing me be free and me practicing my freedom, me practicing my most authentic self, and teaching the tools that I had to learn, that I had to get just with living my life. I teach other people the tools of how to be the most freest version of yourself you can think of, because a lot of the things that I had to fight, a lot of my personal demons, we always want to blame it on these bigger outside forces, and a lot of it is from our own internal beliefs of what's possible or what we should be doing.
Okay, so and how do your I guess your company, I guess I'll say practice, because you're practicing it. Through your practice, how do you do that?
So I have divination. I teach divination. I do divination through tarot readings, but I teach meditation. I teach visualization.
Do you use, when you say tarot, do you mean the lesser or the greater arcana?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So if you want to say the lesser or the greater arcana, if you want to go into that, the whole story of the hero's journey, starting with the fool through wisdom, up to wisdom, that major arcana, that story, like we are all the heroes. Like, and this is what I teach people of how to like kind of tap into these old stories. Because in every religion, it's that story. Every religion, every belief system, it's that story of going from non-belief or just not knowing to wisdom. Like it's a journey and a process. And like I'm still a beginner. I always say like I'm still a beginner. I'm absolutely still a beginner, but that doesn't stop me from stepping up. Like, all right, I know how to get out of what you're doing. So that is why I started doing this. Coming here helped me get a little bit more free, not a little bit, a lot more free in terms of how I do it and how I practice, so I can still learn and teach. Because teaching, you can learn, but I'm still, like I said, I'm still a beginner, so I'm still learning myself. So I come out like I'm open and then I go back in. And a lot of people, that's not a good business model, I know, but my work is spiritually based, so I have to live that.
No, I think that. So like you're definitely, I mean, you're able to survive off, this is some life game now. Let me think about this. Whether people look at it wild or not, you live in a $1,200 place on access to $1,000 a month. So you're making at least $2,200 a month off this. So I mean, assumingly everything, like if you can close and open whenever you want, I mean, people are believing into what you're talking about here. So I mean, it's
worked out for me, and it's a faith walk. It is absolutely a faith walk. And this is what I always tell people is like, my story is not your story. How I do it, how I did it, this is my walk. And my work too is about giving people like, you are not going to become me. That's not what I want you to do. Because a lot of spiritual teachers and stuff, they be trying to make little thems. And I'm like, you're not gonna become me. I don't want that. Because I've had people to try to make me become them. I'm like, I'm not you. I'm not you. So just kind of tapping into what your most authentic self is what I try to teach people, and creating it too. Because sometimes you can't tap into something that's not there. It's a decision to create something too. So I guess I just said a lot of nothing. But
no. So like earlier you spoke of like voodoo and all that stuff. So what exactly are you teaching down there?
So I grew up, it's funny, your granddad might know. I grew up, in essence, I call a spade in a cult. If anyone is familiar in Detroit with like Prophet Jones and those old, like that stuff, he was my minister's teacher. And basically that is, they call themselves Christians and Pentecostal and holiness and all that other stuff, but it's hoodoo. It's hoodoo, using the Bible to as a divination tool, as a spell book. Like I teach people to tap into, because most of my clients were Christian, are Christian, were Christian. You call it whatever you want. So I just teach people how to tap into the old stuff. Like it's not about necessarily creating something new or going to a totally new belief system. It's about purifying your own. So if I had to call it a thing, I would call it hoodoo, although my grandmother never called it that, but that's what she did. So this is like kind of my ancestral thing too. A lot of our families practice certain stuff, but they just call it Christian and so that is kind of what I'm studying. Like,
so demystify it, because I know a lot of people are hearing stuff.
Wait, before you go there, Pops, do you know who she's talking about?
I was just about to ask the same thing. Do you remember Prophet Jones?
Oh yeah, he had a place over on West Chicago there, a big house, you know. And back in the 30s, it was millionaires used to be on Arden Park, I think it was.
Yep,
Park. Millionaires.
He was one of the first ones, and another cult leader bought his bought his house. Like, so we.
He was out of I think he was out of Philadelphia. Father Divine, I believe it was.
Yep. Father Divine bought his.
But you knew of them, but you didn't know them, did you?
I'm sorry.
I said you knew of them, but you didn't know them, right?
Right.
So they were way before your time.
Yeah, that was way before my time.
I was going to say Prophet Jones. That was back.
Yeah, this is my
back in the 50s and the 40s.
All the things I know, like these were my teachers. Like, so this is the thing. Like, we call the stuff like he was Christian. Everybody called it that, but like he did numbers. He would do like the numerology, astrology, all these things. I learned that in church. So it's kind of like for me, the work that I do is kind of going back through the old things that I was taught, but just saying where it actually came from, like calling a spade. So
you were about to say Daddy Grace, weren't you?
Sweet Daddy Grace, like familiar with all of this. So
there was a pastor called Sweet Daddy Grace.
Yeah, Daddy Grace, Father Divine, Prophet Jones. You know, hey, that's our culture, man. You know. You want to make $2 you go and buy your numbers.
Well, he was praying to the Lord, closing his eyes, let his head down, saying, Lord, this is Sweet Daddy Grace. The whole church. This is Sweet Daddy talking to you now, God.
Sweet Daddy.
Jones, like for me, my work is like going through these old cult leaders to call a spade and saying, okay, so what was good? Because what they did, it worked to some extent. So pulling out the good stuff and just like, I don't know, I'm gonna end up writing a book about this. This is where my research is. In Black spirituality, in Black religious orders. Like, this is the stuff that I look at, that I study. I just think it's so messed up that there's so many white cult leaders. There's new religions. They've created all these new religions and they didn't ever go to jail. They didn't ever end up, just in the way that these Black people did. So it's just interesting.
Now I gotta ask Blair. So have you heard any of these things? You grew up in the city, didn't you?
Yeah, I grew up West Side Detroit, and honestly, this is my first time hearing about a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because Prophet Jones, he was back in the 40s and the 50s, he was about to fade out anyway,
Yeah. Because in the 50s, he got caught up on this sex scandals, like homosexuality or so. Like,
yeah.
So they put him in jail, and that was kind of the end of it. But it's still going on. The belief system is still there. He still has followers, and my family is still believers. That's my thing. So I'm just like, all right, I can recognize when things were wrong, what was wrong, what was not authentic, and then what worked. And I'm just taking the stuff that worked and going on.
We have this thing about the 400 years of captivity, and about now is the time when our captivity is over with. It's time, to spread our wings. But anyway, I said that to say that Prophet Jones, they used to preach that back in the day. It's Ham's time. You've heard that word before. It's Ham's time. It was a constant thing like that because even with the Muslim faith, because there used to be back in the 30s, and I recall very well when Elijah Muhammad and them had the mosque over there on Oakland Avenue, upstairs mosque, So I'm pretty familiar with this Black culture. We was into it kind of big time,
Man, the time what Grandpa was talking about, it's interesting because, like, with the advent of the internet, it has allowed more Black people to be able to be in business for themselves. Like, Christina being able to go down into Mexico and like build up her business, or just Blair. I mean, like, think about it. He said he was talking to one of his frat brothers and talking about just a happenstance and idea. Now people are like, if you go on his what is it called again? The site that people can look you up, brother.
Blair's Movie Reel on Facebook and Instagram.
Blair's Movie Reel spelled with the real spell REAL.
Yep.
And like, it's no joke, man. People are fighting in his comments about his movie things, man. And it goes to show just like how powerful like the opinion and the moves that Black people are making now It's like, it's like, for example, I'll give it just an anecdotal thing. I never had a Black Planet page, but Black Planet taught a lot of kids how to code, like on the basic level of the internet. And it's just little things, and just people are running with it. Like you see a lot more Black people now getting into tech. Like even though they don't put the numbers out there are a lot of Black people out here who are just like transitioning, especially with when this pandemic happened. It was like a catalyst. It was like Black people moved into like doing more for self, and it's just moves they weren't going to make because they had a stable job or whatever. They weren't making. I mean, like like it like right now, like even this show that we have that we're talking on right now, it's just me, Grandpa, drinking in the kitchen when I got off work or whatever. But now we got people in industry, man. We got Black Ebert and Roper. Or let me rephrase that. We got like a legitimate Black movie rating system in Blair right now. This is the standard. He didn't made the standard. This is the standard now. I don't even care about movies unless Blair rated it.
I love it.
We got to try to reunite and find the actual ethnicity, the Black culture and like old spiritual base system. That's fine with me, man. Teach me how to do some shit. I mean, we got Uncle Pooh Bear, urban intellectual, auntie, of course, trying to let Black people know their history and who they are and how to get in shape and all that good stuff. And like this stuff has just been happening.
It's a blessing though for social media. This is our freedom here. This is our escape, because we're getting a lot of things you never would have heard because you couldn't afford to pay to get it, on the regular. So your social media and everything, I've seen some brilliancy, creativity is constantly week after week. You have some pretty interesting people on this program, but this is our time now, it's the creativity. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted with all the creativity that's going on now with the younger generation.
Well, now I gotta know. So, how do you do these divinations, Christina? Can you give us an example? Like, is it something that's like really complex, or?
No, and this is the thing. Like, I made it a point to not get complex with how I do the work that I do, because you can. Like, I study other systems, but how I do it with my people, I just have regular old Rider-Waite tarot cards, and we shuffling, we calling your ancestors, we asking for guidance, and it's just really, really just simple stuff. Like, I'm flipping the cards and I am telling what I see in the cards, what I'm feeling. Like, it's really hard to explain, but it's very simple if you watch it. It's so simple.
I completely understand what you're saying, because I didn't been up 3-4 o'clock in the morning and watching infomercials of those old TV evangelicals, and they smack the screen and like a whole crowd of people just fall over. So I mean, if they doing that,
Miss Cleo, call me now. That's the most simple way I can do it. Miss Cleo, call me now. Like that kind of thing. Like, I'm sitting there, we talking, asking, but sometimes before I even shuffle the cards, I'm like, what's going on? A lot of times it's like good common sense. And that's the thing that I never do. I never try to take control of people, because I've seen that. And you see, like, when people like falling out, being slain in the spirit, like that's like it. And I'm not saying it's fake, because I've seen it when it's real, but a lot of times when it's real too, is because people have given up their own power. It's because people want someone to be in charge of them. And that's not the work I do. I just teach people the work I do, even with the divination. Like, we do it together. Like, I do it with people. I sit with someone and I'm like, all right, what is coming to you? Because a lot of the times too, the work is, if I say something and you like, well, I don't agree with that, then that's true. Then what you feel, what you believe is the answer. Like,
that's interesting you say that, because we had a guest last week, the good brother Brandon Cooper, when he was talking about his company. He was I'm not sure if he said it on this show or on the other podcast I was on, but he was talking about how prayer is you uploading to God what you want to know, and when you meditate, that's God sending it back down, like sending you the instruction. And like what you're talking about here kind of reminds me of that. And it's interesting, because it's like, this is just my little spiel about it, but like I got what he was saying with that. I mean, like, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, y'all, because I see auntie and uncle just they're in the back of the handling business, but it's definitely one of those things where I like the duality of this. Not even duality, it's the aspects of it. You got Christina talking about spirituality aspect, and you talking about like all this is pretty deep. And now we got like I'm speaking what Blair was talking about earlier, man. Like, I came in here to like kind of rib him a little bit about the Wonder Woman rating, but I mean it's a lot of meticulous things that goes into that rating, and a lot of that has to do with outsiding factors that have nothing to do at times with how the movie was. It's like, because it's a cultural aspect. Like, how do these movies make people feel? Like, what thoughts are they changing? What ideas are they adding to the consciousness of society? And that's why, I gotta say again, man, you gotta get hip to to the real, man. Not just it's as a matter of fact, because we're getting later in the show, I want plug your stuff again, sir, and Christine, you guys got to plug your stuff because we want to make sure people can get to you. Go
first.
I will put it in. Well, I'll put it in the comments. But
the comments of this is not going to show on the thing. But yeah, just say what it is.
So my Instagram is joy.lives.here.
Mm-hmm.
That is the easiest way to contact me. On Facebook, I'm Christina Joy. So that too. But yeah, the easiest way to contact me is joy.lives.here. And all of my little website and everything is on there too. So
yeah, don't hang up after we end the recording of the show. We got to transmit.
Oh no.
And Blair, give people how to get in contact with you, man. Get your business out there. We're trying to blow up your way, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. All social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm getting more active on there. It's all going to be Blair's, Blair, no E, but Blair, Blair's Movie Reel, Real. You can see all my reviews on there, past reviews, upcoming movies. And I'm putting out more trailers. And of course, once my YouTube hits, that'll be where everything debuts. So tap in with me.
Oh, excellent. You guys got to give your final thoughts too. Yeah, go first, Christine. What's your final thought of today's episode?
First of all, this was amazing. And I love how just the randomness, even just from Granddad, like I'm like, ooh, I'm just learning things. Like I have to watch those movies that y'all were talking about because I've actually never seen 300 before. But
wow.
I love y'all. I love y'all. This was great. This was great. Just the randomness of it is what life is worth and what life is about. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget when I finish on the video, you gotta share. Everyone who's watching it, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe and all that good stuff. But not you go, Blair.
Man, I echo Christina's sentiments, man. It was dope. It was cool just to kick back and hear about history that is going around me, but I didn't even know, And yeah, it was honestly a good time. I'll make sure I have beer or something next time. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Go, Uncle Pooh Bear.
Man, I just thought about it. Blair mentioned history going on around me. Dad, we ain't talked about the Malcolm X house in Inkster.
Damn.
I haven't seen that. Where's it located?
Right behind the dust.
Yeah.
Right behind the where?
The Stardust.
Over there on
really behind like the Blue Store.
Yeah.
Like back over in there on Williams.
On Williams, yeah, the first street over there. That's where it was at.
Yeah.
Well, the rec center that's named Malcolm X because he used to live in Inkster. And they named that rec center after him. Malcolm X is right there across the street from the administration school. That was the Malcolm X Center back in the day when he was, viable.
So I'm gonna
like,
all right, Josh, I know you gotta go, but like
I'll stay out for a little bit.
That's walking distance.
Pass the information out. So Malcolm X did live in Inkster. To catch everybody real quick, Uncle Pooh Bear and Auntie Crystal, because when you're married, you're one, are in the process of if I may say this, curate and perhaps restore or whatever. Uncle Pooh Bear said Malcolm X's house is still up in Inkster. They're trying to make it better and make put Inkster back on the map even further than Grandpa does every time he talks.
I love it. That's so dope. I did not know that, y'all. I did not know.
So I put up a Facebook post that said I wanted to buy the house. I want to buy this house. I want to restore it and make it a museum. The same day, I end up talking to the dude who owned the house. So the guy owns the house, but he owns it through his 501c3, and their plan is to renovate it. So I'm gonna join the board and generate the money for the renovations. I don't know, they don't got like no contacts or something, but they only need like 50 grand to renovate the house from top to bottom.
Isn't that absurd?
Let me ask this question though, Malcolm X, that house, he used to live there?
Yeah, so
because I've been in England, what, 60 years? No, 65 years now. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, he was Detroit Red at the time. You ain't care about
it.
They had the Malcolm X Center, you know, and named after him, but I never knew about no house on Williams over. That's why I want to go.
Yeah, so he lived there. His brother owned the house. He lived there on and off for like 12 years. So when the minister made him the head of the Detroit Mosque, he didn't actually live in Detroit. He lived in Inkster. He lived there during that time. He actually had a job there. But throughout the time, so like they say, you actually got all three Malcolm X's. You got Detroit Red, you got Malcolm X and El Haj Malik Shabazz, because when he was in Detroit, that's where he lived up until his death.
Wow.
Yeah. So I learned all this rapping with the guy that owns it.
How you gonna forget this, Jim, to the end of the show?
Wow. I don't know why it didn't pop in my head until Blair said something, you know. But yeah, I figure like with our following and our audience, we can get on and raise 50 grand. Like they need 20 grand basically to get started. And I'm like, if we can't get 20 people to put up $1,000, you know, like in trouble.
And give them a break.
Like we in trouble, right? If we can't get 50 people to put up
what's absurd is that this is actually an issue. Like this is Malcolm X. Like, you know, this is a beloved member of the community, and you know, this like y'all should get this money today. As a matter of fact, that's what if y'all don't have it, next episode, whoever guest we come on, I don't know. But we're gonna talk about this. The whole episode is gonna be about this particular topic. We might even have a drive.
I like
but
it.
You know, I honestly think part of the issue is the area, especially if they're trying to get financing, because it is a rougher area, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, sometimes when it comes to the financing stuff, banks act funny about not wanting to give money if they think they're not going to get their money back, which they should know better.
I'll say this right now. If y'all don't do it soon, because there's some others who have taken over Saigon, once that and gets closer to that part of it, you might not even be able to do it. You know what I mean? So you might want to hop on it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna push.
I'm not talking to just you. I'm talking about people who care about this particular project, because Inkster ain't as black as it used to be. So I mean, you got to make sure you make sure the relics and the places of institutions that are important for us are taken care of, and the people who care about this need to understand that, because once it's not, then it's just gone.
Yeah, they're working on some good stuff. So, you know, hopefully I can be a catalyst and go and push this over the edge. But I think so, and you know, I think it's crazy. Like I said, I didn't learn about him living there until I don't know a few years ago, and I didn't even really think about it until a friend of mine, General Parker, came driving to Detroit. He swung through Michigan to take pictures in front of the house, and I seen it go through my timeline. I'm like, wow, I forgot all about that. And man, it's crazy. So anyway,
our history, when it's actually happening, we can't tell its history until it's way far down the line. And that's so, like, we got to start pulling this stuff together while some people are still alive. Like,
for somebody that remembers the history, because, you know, they're miseducating every generation more and more. But like Malcolm X, other residences, they've been knocked down. So now it's just really signs up that say he used to live in this space.
Hank, just give me a book. I gotta go through it. Once in a Great City, a Detroit story. It's possibly that Malcolm X is in this book here. If it is, I got the other one about Detroit. And it took me back to the days when they used to have all the riots, you know, like public housing. They built public housing for black people, but they wouldn't let them move in there because it was in a white neighborhood or something, you know. And it was a continuous thing where you just got all kind of problems, you know. But I'll be willing to bet, if it isn't in this book about Malcolm X, it probably is in the other one. I'm gonna do a research, and I'll let you know if I come up with anything, about Malcolm X.
Sound good.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember the rec center there and everything, and things that went on, but I can't recall. You remember living, behind there used to be Miss Allen's store. That was the largest black. I told you about the largest black grocery store in the United States. Now, this was back in the 50s. Now think about it, it ain't that big. It's big, but it ain't that big, That was the best we had. And I was talking about the hotel that used to be over there on Carlisle. It was the largest hotel
on Harrison and Carlisle.
Hotel in the United States, huh?
On Harrison and Carlisle.
Yeah, on Carlisle. Yeah, near Harrison, close to Harrison, but it's on Carlisle. But I'm just saying, it had to think about moving up and moving down. Now, at this particular time, when people were building this stuff, they put in these federal housing, over there on the middle belt, but it wasn't a step down. It was a step up because they had central air and everything. The heat, when you came out of a house and you had a coal stove, with no coal. And then all of a sudden, you move into a federally funded housing with heat, that's a step up. But then over the years, when people get situated and get a little money, then they go buy them a house, and then you start finding it's a step down, because people are still, it's a transit, it's constantly coming and going, But yeah, man, there was some, I recall vividly, man, when they built the one over in Hamtramck, right off of Comer. They moved our church, which was called the Corinthian Baptist Church. It was on Comer, right off of the I-75, and you can see it as you go by. If you go by I-75, when you get out of Hamtramck there, and you see this federal housing, they built the housing, and then they brought people in from the South. They displaced all the black people, and they bring in the hillbillies from the South to come in there, and then they set aside 43 apartments for black people along the railroad track, but then they wouldn't let them move into it. So that's some history, man. All up and down, I can tell you some things,
No, this is good. Remember all this stuff. This is going to be next week's topic. We're going to talk about Malcolm X house and all this stuff. But hey, y'all, because Blair and Christine, don't log off yet. But this week's show, the first episode of 2021. This is episode 77. We'll see y'all next week. We may or may not have new guests. I'm pretty sure Christine looks interested. She might come back from